this lady booked a one-on-one consultation call with me, and she said, Maurice, like you were a executive and a federal agent and all that stuff, and my career feels stuck. And I said to her, because the career highway, there's a traffic jam. Everyone is vying for the same position, the same title, the same certification, the same training class. Everyone's bumping into each other because it's crowded. The shit wasn't crowded for me because I was never competing for any of those things. I was just trying to get life experiences, fill my life book. So while people in my firm were going after partner, I was going after experience. So I asked someone if I could create a role by which I was doing all this stuff in all these other countries to get the experiences. I wanted the experience. And now, because I had all those experiences worldwide, local too, but worldwide as well, all those relationships still pay me. I still see those people all the time. So when you're like, why wouldn't you leave if you had the revenue? That's what I meant by you quickly realize that life was never about the money in the first place. All these people that have money, you always see them still working. Why is Elon Musk still working? He's trying to do something, impact people, have experiences, be out there. It's not money, man. It's impact to people and experiences. So yeah, I stayed. I even became a street cop at the same time.
And I think that's something that a lot of people in our generation
they get misconstrued.
Lose sight of or get misconstrued because a lot of times we're like, okay, I need to just make enough money to leave this job so I can do whatever I want. And a lot of times the whatever I want is the traveling, the having fun. But they don't realize that life without purpose is meaningless. Yeah. Like you're going to start to feel a void. The traveling, the trip is going to get old after a while.
It will get old.
Because we're put here to create an impact and to help create differences in everyone else's lives. Yeah. A lot of people lose sight of that. So that's why I asked that question.
Yeah, they do lose sight of it, or they just haven't hit the point in their life journey where it will present as something that's important. It takes time to get there. Mm-hmm. I just think I had experiences in my early 20s that got me there earlier. That's all. I think that's the only difference.
So you started working, you said in 97, right?
97, I was 21. Yeah.
So from 21 to what age did it take you to reach that point where you were like, okay, everything that my basic needs, they're met. I have the passive income that exceeds my expenses.
It's not like you it's not like you just wake up one day and you're like, yo, I have enough money. But I realized that I was financially okay in 2014 because I was getting pay from Accenture, my company, mm-hmm. but I wasn't using it. Like they paid me like 6 times and I hadn't even looked at my bank account.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, no, I'm actually okay financially. Because I was so used to being in the hustle and the grind and like every weekend painting and toilets and termites and tenants, and like I was just in this rhythm for 15 years. So
you were managing your properties yourself?
Yeah, to my detriment, I was, until I made some changes. But I self-managed. I self-managed for like 13 years.
Why you say to your detriment?
Because, brother, I had no time. I had no time, and as I told you before, remember we time is the greatest asset. Is the greatest asset. Okay, so I talk a lot about entrepreneurial depression, and I think I talked to you guys about this before. Yes. Mm-hmm. That was during. See, I can speak to you guys now, and I feel like I'm home because we're talking about topics that resonate with me or all of us in this room, right? But back in 97 or 2002, 2005, there was no podcasting and LinkedIn and Insta, and I think Facebook was just coming around. We weren't really connecting like this on these mm-hmm. topics. So when I was going down this rabbit hole of going after all this property, I was doing it by myself. And I was doing it for life reasons, not money reasons, so I really didn't feel like I had anybody to talk to about it. So when the fellas was hitting it on the weekend, don't get me wrong, I went out from time to time. Like
But it's still different of going out and being able to connect with somebody who actually understands what you're going through.
Well, let's say for every 5 times the fellas went out, I went out once. Mm-hmm. I was constantly, so I would work for Accenture during the week. I would work for the police department at night. And then on the weekends, it was all real estate. And I was pressing repeat for 15 years. That was a lot. But that's how much I wanted my freedom.
That's a grind.
I was not playing around.
Yeah.
And finally, I got to the point where I was like, wait a minute. Steve Harvey talks about this quite a bit. We tend to be very tight. When you create something that has value, we tend to be very tight with it, and we want to hold it and protect it, right? So we don't want to hire things like property managers. But then I finally started to realize if I give up 10% of my revenue, I've gained back 90% of my time.
That's major.
And that changed everything. So for the 2,000 units or so that I own now, I don't manage any of them. What I was going to say was there was one particular condo that I've owned since 2004. The guy who lived there has been with me since then. So I never got a property manager, but I just sold it to him, which was a happy point for me. Because it was a brother and there was no way he could afford anything in the area. He bought the place he's always been living in, and I felt like I was a part of that. So that made me feel good. But in general, no, man, I haven't managed anything on a day-to-day basis a year. My time is better spent looking for the next asset or looking for the next person to help. It's not well spent if I'm cleaning floors with it or something.
That's a really big point. I'm glad that you shared that. That's like not even just in real estate. That's life, business in general, where it's like we, especially in our community, I think we have an issue with that, where it's like we want to control every aspect of it. Yeah. That's something that we discussed on whenever we were talking about the things we learned through 2022. It's like, if you try to control everything, you're sacrificing so much more than you're gaining whenever you don't realize. And sometimes you don't realize it because you're going to lose your time. You're going to lose your health. Your mental health is going to suffer because you're trying to compress 10 people's work into one person. And that's not a viable or scalable way to do anything in life or business.